He gestured, and the two guards took a step forward, their presence suddenly much more imposing. Jenna's parents were finally scared. They grabbed their unwilling daughter and scurried away. Just before they disappeared, Jenna looked back over her shoulder and shot me a look of pure venom. I knew this was only the beginning, for things escalated just as I expected. A few days later, I found my car key in the garage. A long, deep gash ran from the hood to the trunk, cutting straight through the paint. The security camera in that section was, of course, broken. Aging wiring. The building management told me it's being repaired. I didn't need a camera to know who did it. Next, my deliveries and takeout orders started to disappear. I'd find them overturned and spilled on the floor of the mailroom or tossed directly into the trash. I stopped ordering in and started cooking for myself. Then came the late-night phone calls, blocked numbers. When I answered, there was only the hiss of static. I came up and they'd call right back, over and over until dawn. I blocked all unknown callers. She was determined to wear me down. Work, she became even more brazen. She somehow managed to get assigned to one of my project teams and used her limited access to create chaos. I'd ask her to schedule a meeting with a client, and she'd deliberately give them the wrong time, causing them to show up to an empty conference room. The client was furious and complained directly to Mark. Mark in turn chewed me out again. When I walked out of his office, Jenna was waiting for me. "How does it feel, Audrey?" she asked, clutching a stack of files to her chest, a smug smile on her face. "I told you this wasn't over. As long as you refuse to let me in, I will make your life a living hell." I just looked at her, my own feelings a complete blank. "Is that so?" I walked away. She watched me go, her expression shifting from simple hatred to something more cunning. I'd heard that my building had recently switched management companies due to some operational issues, and there was a lot of new staff. She must have heard something too, and figured that I was just another tenant. She thought that by getting a job with the new company, she could control me from the inside. She yelled after me, "Don't look so smug. I found a new job at the property management company for your precious building." I paused. She caught up to me, lowering her voice to a conspiratorial whisper. "I pulled some strings to get in. From now on, I'm the one who manages your floor, your water, your electricity, your gas. It's all under my control. I can have it shut off whenever I want." The look on her face was a terrifying mix of madness and glee. "Audrey, our little game is just getting started." She thought she held the trump card. She thought she finally had me by the throat. She thought she could finally crush me. Looking at her distorted, triumphant face, I felt a sudden urge to laugh. So this was it. This was the brilliant plan she'd spent all this time and energy on. Get inside my world, just so she could abuse her petty authority to make my life miserable. When I got home, I sent a text to, "Is there a new hire starting at the management office tomorrow?" His call came a second later. "Ms. Ross, you found out it was my call. I apologize. I thought it's not your fault." I cut him off. "Hire her and then do exactly as I say." The next morning, I arrived at the office with a thermos of black coffee in hand. No stop for my usual latte. No chance of Janet cornering me by the elevator. My desk was clear, my to-do list prioritized, but the air hummed with quiet tension. Colleagues glanced up as I walked in, their eyes darting away. When I met their gaze, word of the cold-blooded coworker post still lingered, thick enough to taste. Jenna wasn't at her desk. I checked the project calendar. She was supposed to be in a client prep meeting at 9 a.m. I didn't care if she skipped it. Let her derail her own work, not mine. At 10:15, my phone buzzed. It was Ethan Mize Ross. He said, his voice low and formal. "She's here, started 15 minutes ago. HR processed her paperwork. She used the name Jen Carter, no aliases. Told the team she has a personal connection to the building and wants to improve resident experience." I sipped my coffee, the steam fogging my glasses slightly. "Good. Did you assign her to my floor like we discussed?" "Done. She's overseeing floors 12-15. Yours is 14. She's already asking the maintenance team about routine checks for your unit. Water pressure, HVAC filters." She mentioned wanting to introduce herself in person. Later today, a faint smile tugged at my lips. "Predictable. Let her tell maintenance to stall. And Ethan, keep the security feed on her everywhere she goes in the building. I want it recorded." "Understood." "Also your car. The body shop finished the repairs last night. I had it brought back to your garage spot. New security cameras installed there to discreet. No one will notice." "Thank you." I hung up just as Mark appeared at my cubicle. His tie was askew, his face flushed. Signs he'd already had a stressful morning. "Audrey," he said, leaning in like he was sharing a secret. "Have you seen Jenna? She didn't show up for the client meeting. I tried calling her, no answer." I shrugged, scrolling through my emails. "No, maybe she's sick." Mark sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Great, the client's here in an hour, and she had the presentation notes. I need you to cover it. Pull the latest data from the shared drive." "I can't," I said, not looking up. "I'm scheduled to meet with the legal team at 11. They're reviewing the contract for the West Side project." You said that was a priority last week. Mark's jaw tightened. Audrey, this is urgent. The client's flying in from Chicago. We can't mess this up. I finally lifted my head, meeting his eyes. Then you should have assigned someone reliable to handle the presentation, not someone who skips work to play property manager. His face turned red. Are you saying this is Jenna's fault? You're the one who's been giving her a hard time. I raised an eyebrow. I'm the one who showed up on time, did my job, and didn't key a coworker's car, or steal their food, or make anonymous posts about them. On the company board, Mark frowned. He hadn't heard about the car or the deliveries. Jenna had probably kept that to herself, knowing it would make her look guilty. I'd intentionally never mention it to him, letting him think Jenna was just a poor, desperate girl made his frustration with me easier to dismiss. But now, seeing the shock on his face, I knew the narrative was shifting. Before he could respond, my phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from the building's front desk. Miss Ross, Jenna Carter from management is here. She says she needs to do a routine safety inspection of your unit, refuses to leave without seeing you. Perfect, I have to go. I told Mark, standing up and grabbing my purse. Emergency at my building, legal can reschedule. Tell them it's your call is sputtered. But I was already walking toward the elevator. Let him deal with the Chicago client. Let him realize Jenna wasn't the victim he thought she was. By the time I got back to the building, it was 11:3 and the lobby was quiet. Most residents were at work. Most staff were in the management office on the third floor, but there, leaning against the front desk, was Jenna. She was wearing a cheap blazer over a tight dress, a lanyard with her property manager it around her neck. When she saw me, her face lit up with a fake, sickly sweet smile. Audrey, perfect timing. I was just about to call you again. We need to do a quick walk through of your unit. Fire safety codes, building regulations. She held up a clipboard, pretending to scan a sheet of paper. I tried to get maintenance to do it, but they said you preferred to be present. Can't blame you. No one likes strangers rummaging through their stuff. I didn't move. I didn't tell maintenance that, and I didn't schedule any inspection. Who approved this, Jenna? I faltered for a second. Oh, it's just a routine check. The new management team wants to update all the unit records. Nothing to worry about. Should take 10 minutes tops. She tried to walk past me toward the elevator, but I stepped in her way. No, her smile vanished. Excuse me, I'm a property manager here. I have the right to access any unit for safety inspections. It's in your lease, section 7, paragraph 2. Did you even read it? I crossed my arms. I wrote it. Jenna stared at me, confused. What, the lease? The building's lease agreement. I reviewed it. When the new management company took over, section 7, paragraph 2 says inspections require 48 hours written notice. You have no notice, no approval, no right to be in my unit. Her face turned pale. You review the lease? How?